Is the HD600 veiled? Let's take a look at this bold claim and find out if there's any truth to it. Greetings, Boss Ed, and welcome aboard. Let's do it, Charles here, HomeStudioBasics.com, helping you make sound decisions leading to a beautiful audio experience that will make you fall in love with music all over again. So, I know it just seems like I came out with an HD600 video, but bear with me. Something happened as I pulled it out again and put it on my head for another listen. I've done this seemingly inconsequential activity hundreds of times since I received the headphone as a gift in 2016, but this time it was different. I heard it. I heard the veil. Blasphemy! I used to think that the veil accusation was overdone like your mom's meatloaf.
You know what? I will have some meatloaf. Let's have some meatloaf. You want some? Yes. I knew you'd go. Hey, Mom!
But I kind of understand where those people are coming from now. In the past, I found the treble to be on the darker side, but it never sounded weird to me. I think part of it has to do with the fact that I've demoed over 100 headphones at the time of this video, but also I've been listening to brighter, more open and or crisper sounding cans lately. Headphones like the SHP 9500, K702, Headphone Mandeva, KPH30i, etc. All of these sound markedly different from the HD600 and the distinction was apparent. When I listened to the HD600 this time around, it sounded kind of muffled, boxed in, clammy, and congested at first. As I kept listening, it started to sound as I remember from before. The natural, effortless portrayal of the music made its return and all was right with the world. Or was it? This brings up an interesting conundrum with headphones and our perception of their sound signatures, something I've always wanted to talk about. Some years back, Tile posed a question: is burn-in real or is it mostly in our heads? For the experiment, he took a brand new pair of Q701s and measured them. Then he burned in the same pair for 200 or so hours, I can't remember the exact number, and measured them again. The results were interesting. Each headphone measured markedly different. He concluded that burn-in is a real thing, but a lot of it is in our head as well. This coincides with my own experience. When you first put a headphone on, it will undoubtedly sound a certain way to you, for better or worse. Putting on a Headphone Mandeva after not listening for a while puts a grimace on my face. The treble is much too bright and essy, and it kind of bothers me to the point where I almost take it off. As I persevere and forget that it's on my head due to its incredible comfort level, the sound starts to settle in and my brain becomes acclimated to the new stimulus. After a while, the treble does not sound essy or sibilant to me anymore. This poses an interesting question. Is the headphone actually bad? Or does it take some time to get used to? The same sort of phenomenon manifests itself in the HD600, albeit with a different dilemma. The headphone's treble sounds too dark and the overall image is closed in and awkward sounding. Over time, these concerns go away. For instance, as I was writing the script for this video, I was listening to the HD600 and a playlist I will link below. There was a hi-hat on a track called Sunrise on Southeast Street. It sounded crisp but still natural. It's not sibilant or essy at all with the HD600, something I've come to appreciate over the years. The other interesting aspect of note is EQing 8 to 10K down by a few decibels. This initially yielded a satisfactory result with the Deva. The sibilance was gone and I could enjoy the headphone again. But after listening for quite a while, it started to sound almost too dark to me. I needed that sparkle that was missing. Raising the treble back up some rectified the issue. So for the answer, I do believe that in comparison to other headphones, the HD600 can sound veiled. I believe that our mind is an incredibly powerful thing and that our perception of sound can change over time. We also must take into account the most important aspect of a track, how it was recorded, mixed, and mastered. This is perhaps the most important component of audio that no one in the audiophile world cares to discuss that much. Do I believe an HD600 is veiled on its own? As in, if it's the only headphone I have to listen to? I would lean towards no. Perhaps a noob isn't the greatest example for this, but I let a friend borrow the HD600 in 2019, and her reaction was that of pure bliss. She didn't hear the veil, we didn't talk about one, and I didn't ask her if she thought the headphone was quote-unquote dark in the treble. I simply handed it to her and she started listening. She would tell me later that she never wanted to leave her room, that's how much she loved it. Keep in mind this is someone who's really never heard what a good headphone is. Most consumer trash she's listened to in the past placed high emphasis on the treble. For her to not even comment on it leads me to believe that most companies just it up, whether they're big name audiophile companies or otherwise. If most people are used to a bright treble, hear an HD600 and don't comment on it, I'm inclined to think that it's perfectly fine and correct. Some people may disagree with me on this. DT990 guy. Excuse me. And that's okay. People who review gear and listen to a lot of products will invariably be able to spot a discrepancy like this, but I firmly believe that the majority of folks out there will enjoy an HD600 series headphone regardless of what some snob with a microphone says. Nowadays, I do recommend an HD6XX over the others as it's cheaper and it strikes a perfect balance between the too forward HD600 and the too laid back HD650. Contrary to what some Reddit asshole tells you, the 650 is not identical to the 6XX, something I've always harped on in my videos and articles. All relevant links down below. With that, check out the next video in the Before You Buy series. I know it will help you out immensely on your journey.